So hey guys, welcome back to Pianalytix, your go-to place to learn Power BI and building Power BI projects. So in this tutorial, we will be creating a detailed Power BI report on Blinkit's sales dataset. We will be creating a report step by step right from scratch by loading our dataset, seeing what transformations we can perform on the dataset, and then eventually building our report. So please watch the tutorial till the end as I will walk you through each and every step right in this tutorial. So without wasting any further time, let's dive in, build our report and see what this data reveals. So this is our Blinkit's sales dataset. And first let me walk you through the dataset. So basically it is the sales dataset and categorized by the fat content in each and every order. So the first column is of the item fat content itself. Each and every entry is a sales entry with an ID and the item type which has been ordered, what fat content is present in the item, is it low fat or a regular fat. So the first column is of the item fat content, the second column is the item identifier, basically it is the ID. The next is the item type. Item type is what type of item has been ordered, it is a fruits and vegetables or medicines or household, or it is a snack food or a soft drink, and so many else. The next is the outlet establishment year, the order that has been completed from a particular outlet, that outlet from which the order has been placed was established in which year. So this is that column. The next is the outlet identifier. The next is the outlet location, that the outlet is located in which tier city. Is it tier 1 city, is it tier 2 city, is it tier 3? So it is bifurcated in 3 tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. The next we have is the outlet size, that the outlet is of which size. Is it a small outlet size or a medium one, or it is a high outlet size? So the value in this column is bifurcated in 3 values. The next we have the outlet type, that the outlet type, we have 4 different types of outlet, basically the grocery stores, a supermarket type 1, supermarket type 2 and supermarket type 3. So it is that. The next we have, this column is for the item visibility, that it is represented in a ratio or a number which represents that the the item is displayed on the Blinkit's app. Basically the what is the visibility percentage of that particular item on Blinkit. The next we have is the item weight, and the next is we have the sales, which is basically is in rupees, you can consider it as, or we can consider it in dollars. The next we have is the rating, that how much rating has been assigned to that particular item in a particular order. So each and every entry in this table in the dataset represents the item that has been ordered, and we'll be using almost all the columns while building our report except this identifier columns and this item weight columns. So let's move on to Power BI desktop. So as you guys know that when we will open the Power BI desktop, you will get this home window, and this is the canvas on which you will create a report. So first load the dataset. Before loading the dataset, let me show you how our report will look like by the end of this tutorial. So by the end of this tutorial, our report will look like something like this, and that's how our report is going to look like. We will be creating this Blinkit logo. We're going to add some slices. We'll be creating these charts, these new KPI cards, new cards, and we are also gonna see how to create metrics and what do they do. And yeah, that's how our report is gonna look like. So let's create this report. So the first step is loading the dataset. So for loading the dataset, you guys know we go to get data, and when we choose what type of dataset we have. So we have an Excel workbook. So I'm gonna select an Excel workbook, and I'm gonna select the dataset. So this is a data set, So it will take a while and it will load. Yeah, now I will select this to preview our data set. Now, first we can load the data and then transform it, or we can directly move to transforming the data set. For the transformations part, if I go to Excel back, mostly the data is clean. We need to just sort out this column, which is one of the main columns, that is item fat content. So as you guys can see, there are two types of categories in this, as I said, low fat and regular fat. But regular fat is not entered completely, it is just typed regular and it is left there, and that is the case with all the values. Also, there are some values with LF, something like this, as you guys can see, which represents low fat, but we don't want this. We want the value to be properly entered as low fat. As you guys can see, there are 4 different kinds of values in this column: LF, low fat, reg, and regular. So we need to clean this column. Rest, all the data set is mostly clean, and except this item weight column, it has some null values, but anyways, we don't need this column in building our report, so we can remove this column, or we can just leave it like that. So first we will go to transform data, and it will open the Power Query editor. So this is our data set, as you guys can see, and we will transform this column which we need. And this, what you guys are seeing, is the column health value. Basically, you can turn it on by going to view. In the views tab, you can just check this box, column quality. If I uncheck this, this will be removed from here. So I want to see the column quality of each and every column, which I'll see after transforming this column. So first, let me go to home. I'll right click on this column and I will select the replace values. I want to replace some values which are reg. I want to replace it with regular fat, which I want like this properly. I'll click OK and I'll have my values replaced. Again, right click on it, select replace values. Now I want to replace the value LF with low fat like this. I'll click OK and the values have been replaced. This is the applied steps area where you can see each and every step that you are performing in the Power Query editor will be reflected over here, and then you can undo it by simply clicking on this red cross over here. If you click on this, the step you performed will be undo, and so this is the way to track each and every step or each and every transformation done in the Power Query editor. Now there are still some values that we need to replace, such as this low fat value and this regular with a regular fat. So we need to perform 2 more times this replace value step. So I want to replace the regular with the regular fat, and the last replacement that I want to perform is for the low fat, and I want this value to be properly listed as this, and I click OK. Yeah, now if I can check, okay, there is this value that I have replaced by mistake, so I'll correct it. I think it was okay. Let me just correct it manually only. So I'll go to replace values again and I will type regular fat and again fat. By mistake, I typed fat twice, so it has replaced into those values. Now it is correct. I'll click OK. And now I think it should be sorted. Yeah, perfect. As you guys can see, we have cleaned this column accordingly, and yeah, now it is done. Talking about the item weight column, there are quite a few null values in this column, but we can remove this column from here because we don't need in this building our report, or we can just leave it there as this item identifier or outlet identifier columns. So we don't need this item weight column, but I'm not removing it. Now the column quality, I need to check the column quality. So go in the view tab, check on column quality, and you can see the column quality of each and every column right on top of it. This valid shows that there are 100% valid values, and this column is perfectly correct. There no need to worry about anything in this. And similarly, you can check for each and every column that it should be valid 100%, except for this column. As you guys can see, item weight, because it has some null values, that's why it shows 16% empty values. Basically, there are 16% values of all the values that are there are null values. But we don't need to worry about this. As I said, we don't need this column in building our report. So I'll just simply load the dataset by going in home, and I'll hit close and apply. That will apply all the transformations that we have performed and load the dataset into the model. So it is creating connections in a model, and it will take a while to load the dataset. Okay, as you guys can see, there are more than 8,500 rows in our dataset, and it has been successfully loaded now. So before moving on to creating our report, we'll be creating some few basic measures. Basically, we need 4 simple measures for building our today's report. So we will be creating those measures first. So I'll click on new measure. So the first measure that I need is for the total sales. So I'll name it as total sales, and that is calculated by using the sum function. And I'll pass the sales column as the parameter. I'll close the bracket, hit enter, and you will have your measure for the total sales right here. The next measure that we need is for the total items. So I'm going to name it as this, and for this I am going to use the count a function, and I'm going to pass the item identifier column as each and every entry in a data set is the items that have been ordered. So I want to basically get to know through this measure that how many total items have been ordered. So I'll use this measure. So we have the total items. The next measure that we need is for the average sales. So for that, I'm going to name it this column as average sales, and we're going to simply use the average function and pass the sales column as the parameter and create our measure. We have our measure for average sales here. And the last measure that we need is for the average rating. Again, we are going to use the average function and pass the rating column as the parameter. And here we have the average rating measure as well. Now we will start building our report. So first of all, I don't need the 16:9 canvas, so I'm going to go to canvas settings and select custom, and we'll be using 800 by 1500 pixels canvas for this report. Perfect. And the canvas background that I want is this 30% darker with 73% transparency. Perfect. Yeah. So that's how we have set our canvas for our report. Now first creating that logo part that I showed you, which is this, creating this part of our report, and then we'll create the slices. So for this you need to go to insert, and we need to insert a shape, which is this rounded tab both top shape, and I need to rotate it by 90 degrees, yeah, like this. And I want the color. So for the color you can go to style tab, and the color that we are using today, as I told you in our previous tutorials, that if you are creating a report for a particular brand or around a particular product company, so you can use the color scheme or the color themes in your report. You can add the colors that is used by the company for its products, or that is there in the company's logo. So whenever you think of Blinkit, you can easily think of two colors, which is yellow, green, and also black. So we're going to use the yellow and the green color for the Blinkit in our today's report, along with some white backgrounds as well and a little bit of black. So the yellow color that is used by Blinkit is, I have the hex code for that, which is FFD200. You can note it down, FFD200. So I'm going to use this for this shape, and I'm going to change the size a little bit to this. Yeah, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'll add a text inside this for the Blinkit and its punchline, that is India's last minute app. So for that I'm going to choose a text box, and I'm going to type Blinkit, select the text, change the font type to COJ bold, increase the font size to, let's say, 18, or I think it's still small. I think 32 is good. And if you will check the Blinkit's logo, then the blink is in the black, while the it is in the green. So I'll select the it, and I'll change the color, and the green color used by the Blinkit, its hex code is 008000. Perfect. So I'm gonna use this text box, and first let me just go to the effects, and I'll turn off the background. Yeah, now I will adjust this inside this part, and I think I can still increase the font size. So let me do that. Okay, I'm gonna go with 36. I think it looks fine. Okay. Okay, I think it looks good. I don't need this scroller which is coming again and again. Okay. Yeah. As you guys can see, we have created our Blinkit logo. So before moving ahead, don't forget to save your progress. So I'm gonna save this project by the name Blinkit Power BI report. Yeah, it is done. And now we need to add the punchline below the logo. For that, I'm gonna use again the text box, and the punchline is India's last minute app. Okay, so we're gonna select this complete line. We're gonna use the same font type. Color is black. I want the font size to be around 16. No, not 16. I think 14 is good, or 12. Okay, 12 is good. Now I just need to turn off the background for this as well and place this correctly below our logo. Okay. Okay, let me just place this text in the center first. Yeah. This alignment and arranging part can be little tiry sometimes, but you need to, have some patience and then perform it. Yeah. See, now it looks quite like more or less exactly same. Yeah, it is exactly same like the Blinkit logo used by the company itself. Okay, now we are going to add few slices. So we'll be giving 3 slices, or we'll be creating 3 slices for this report. So click on slicer, and then the first slicer that we are going to add is based on the outlet location. Okay, yeah, outlet location. And I want this slicer to be a drop down slicer. Yeah, like this. And for the slicer settings, for the values part, I need this font is correct, but the background should be yellow in color, basically this yellow. The font should also be semi bold. I think it will look good. And for the complete background of this slicer, we will go to general effects and change the color to again this particular color. I want the title should be okay. I don't want the title. This is basically the slicer header which I want, and I will change the font to semi bold. Yeah, like this. For the values, the background color, I'm gonna choose the lighter version of this yellow that we are using in our today's report. So I want this lighter version of this, something like this. Yeah, I think now it looks good. Yeah, now it looks perfect how I want it to be. And for the borders, you can just add the border or not. I think without border it was looking rather better, so I'll remove the borders. Yeah, I think now it is done. In the effects part, I will add the border like this. Yeah, now it is perfect. Similarly, now we need to create two more slices like this. So I'm gonna create another slicer by selecting slicer. Now I want it to be based on outlet size, and the next slicer that we want is to be based on the item type, so that the user can select the item types. Let's say there are 15 or 20 out different item types, and the user want the data or the report to be based on the 5 particular item types. So they can select any 5 items they want, and the report will change accordingly. So for the formattings of this, I'll just simply copy paste the formattings by selecting this, go to home tab, click on format painter and paste the formattings. Similarly, I'll again do this step, and I will change the slicer settings. I want it to be as a drop down. Similarly for this one, I want it to be a drop down. Adjust its size, and we will place the slicers like this, like this. Place them in an alignment. Okay, right. Similarly, this one also. Okay, for this slicer, I think in the slicer header, I don't need this word, so I'll just remove this. Make sure the slices are of same size, like in terms of height they should be same. Yeah, perfect. And now we'll save our progress, and if we'll see, like, we're getting close to this report. We have created this, we have created these 3 slices. Now before creating charts and matrix, we first create these cards right over here, which is the new cards. Before that, I need to change this a little bit. Okay, I need to change the placement for this as well, like this. Okay, similarly I need to change the placement for this as well. Perfect, now it looks even better. Okay, I'll also select this shape here. I'll go to general, I'll go to effects, and I want a shadow. But the color of the shadow should be okay. Let me select this, or first, okay, I haven't turned off the background, so I need to turn off the border, and along with that we need the shape to be the rounded rectangle, or not, wait. Okay, this formatting and aligning part, as I told you, can something sometimes be tiring. And I think okay, we'll come to this editing of this logo later, but first let us create our cards which will be placed in a column here. So for that we're not gonna use or create each and every chart, instead, sorry, each and every card. Instead we're gonna use this new card option from here, and you can simply place all the four values or the all the four measures that we have created, something like this. So first I want the total sales, then I want the total items, then I want the average sales, then I want the average rating, yeah, like this. And by double clicking on each and every value, you can just change the category value. You can just simply double click on it and change the value accordingly. So I'm just gonna correcting it a little bit like this. And for the average sales, it should be like this. Similarly for the average rating, double click and you can change it then and there. Now I want it to be displayed in a column, so we'll go to layout and I want the arrangement to be in single column. It should be cards, maximum should be 4. Okay, now it looks like we are getting somewhere. For the paddings, okay, so first let me just turn off the background of this whole slicer, then we will come to the cards, formatting of the cards. So for the cards, the background, I want it to be applied to all. The background should be, as I told you, we're going to use this color, so the background should be this. And the values, okay, the call out values, yeah, the call out values should have the font should be this, and the size should be this, yeah, perfect. For the reference labels, I want I want the reference labels to be displayed below our call out values, not on top of that. So for that we have a setting which changes the value. Okay, I want it to be paginated, and yeah, position, we want it to be below. Perfect. Now the label, for the label I want it to be black, semi bold, and space between those can be reduced to 6 or even further to 4. I think, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, now as you can see, we are getting somewhere, and we'll go to cards again. We need the shape to be rounded rectangle. Okay, the rounded corners can be reduced further to 16 pixels. And now we need an accent bar for sure, which needs to be displayed in left with a width of 5 pixels. Let's do it 6, and the color should be the green that we have used with a hex code of 008,000. Perfect. Okay, so we are almost done with our cards, but as you guys can see, something's missing. So to make the cards look even more appealing, what we are gonna do is we're gonna add small logo for each and every card, which represents the value that it is displaying. For the total sales, we're gonna add a logo, and for total items, and for the average sales and average rating as well. So I'll be providing with you these logos along with the data set in the description below, so that you can practice along, as practice along will make you learn even better and give you a better experience. So for this, I'm gonna select this, go to this, and I'll be going in cards, and instead of all, first I will select total sales, and in total sales, in the background part, I don't need a background image. I need, okay, instead of cars, we will go to images, and then we will select total sales. We'll turn image on, and then we will select our image. So I'm gonna browse it from my desktop. So this is the logo that I'm gonna use it for total sales. So it would be right for the text with the alignment of top, and the size would be 25 pixels. Yes, 25 pixels, and it would be top vertical alignment right of the text. Yeah, perfect. Similarly, we are gonna add each image for each of the cards, but first I need to, as you guys can see, the text is not displayed properly, so I need to reduce the text size. So we'll go in callout value. We can reduce it for all at once to around, I think 25 is fine. No, 24 is fine. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go to images again, and this time I will select the total items, turn on the image, and I'll browse the image from my system, which is this. I'll reduce the size to 25 pixels, vertical alignment top, and it is right there. And for the average sales, I'm gonna repeat this step by selecting average sales, turn on the image, and select the image, which is this one. and the size that we are gonna use is 25 pixels for the image with a top vertical alignment. Similarly, I'm gonna repeat this step for the average rating as well. I'll select the image and the size is 25 pixels, top vertical alignment. Now you guys can see by adding these small logos for each and every card, it has even enhanced our cards and they're looking even more elegant and beautiful. So first we will save our progress. Okay, so now I need to make some more formatting changes in our cards, but before that, as I said, we need to figure out for this corners columns. So what I have did is basically this is the shape. This is the complete shape. It selects, so I have to not apply the shadow from here, go in general and effect settings. Instead I have to apply the shadow settings in the shape tab. So I'll turn it off from here and then I'll go to shape tab and I'll go into the style part and I'll turn on the shadows. And we will increase the size of this a little bit. Um, okay, I think we should reduce the size of this to 11 and I'll also the size of this to 32 and we need to rearrange it. Which we are doing. So basically you need to turn off the shadows from the general tab. Instead you need to give the shadow to this shape from the shape tab, which is the shape tab. You can go in style and turn on the shadows. Now as we have changed this, so we need to also change our arrangements. Changing that and I'm making that rearrangements so that it looks good. Okay, I think now it's okay. Okay, yeah, I think now it is good. Let me just compare this to this. Yeah, I think it is looking good now. Just going, I want this to be a little bit down, but this isn't. As I said, doing this arrangements is become sometimes tiring. Okay, so now we have rearranged it and it looks good now. So we will first save our progress till here, and next what we need to do is we need to edit these. So for that formatting, what I'm gonna do is going to go in the layouts. I need this to be center aligned, this to be as this, values will be 17 of bold, and along with that would be a single column, or shall I do it as this? Okay, the overflow would be continuous scroll. Okay, now for the label part, it is correct. Okay, I want the background. I don't want the border. Instead, I want the shadow. Okay, I don't want the border here. Instead, I want the shadow and the glow. For also, I'm gonna first redo this because the settings didn't apply to all the card. Instead, just the total sales card. So I need the glow and the shadow. So I'm gonna select all so that it applies to all the cards. Then we are going to turn on the shadows and the glow and turn off the borders. Yeah, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust the size of the image that we have because I think it is too large. So we'll apply the settings to all. We'll turn on the image. We'll reduce the size to 21 pixels. Okay, we need to apply it one by one, I think. Okay, so I want the size to be 21 pixels and it should be visible. Similarly, I want to apply the settings to this one also. Similarly, for the rest of the two cards, I need to change the size of the image, that is for average sales, and for the average rating as well. So we are reducing the size of the image so that it fits in the size of the card as we have turned on the shadow. So the size of the cards has been reduced. So we need to adjust the size of the image accordingly. Okay, perfect. Now, first, let me click on the measure. I want the values, that is the revenue values, which is the total sales and the average sales to be in dollars. So I'll click on total sales. I will select dollar and it will apply the settings, and I don't want this, so I will make it 0. Okay, I want it to be in dollars, so I am, let me just first, I'll rearrange it later. Let me just first adjust the values as it has changed to dollars, but it is showing so many decimal places after that, which I don't want. So you're gonna click on this. You can go to this format settings and change your value accordingly. As you guys can see, I'm adjusting the decimal places, and now it has adjusted. That's how we want it to be. That is two decimal places for the total sales value, and it should be in currency, that is dollars. Similarly, I'll do it for the average sales also, but in the average sales, I don't want it to be in the decimal values. Instead, I want it as whole number. So I will make here, instead of 2, I will type 0. So I'll click on average sales. In the format settings, I will change it to first currency. Now it has changed to dollars, and instead of 2, I'll make it 0. Similarly, for the total items, I'll click on this total items. I don't want it to be whole number. Instead, I'll click on general. Yeah, I wanted to show the exact values, not rounded off to thousands or something. So I'll select this call out values for the total items part. I want to show it as none, and I don't want any decimal values. Perfect. Similarly, for the average rating part, for the average rating, display units should be none. For the average rating, I want it to be a whole number, or I can leave it like this as well, which gives us the average rating. Okay, let me leave it like that. So that's how we are done with the formatting. We need to just adjust the size of our cards, and then we are done with its formatting. So for that, I'm gonna choose this size. I think this is a good size. Yeah, we'll save our progress, and I think we have built it perfectly. So we did for this part and also for this part. So we'll save our progress, and now we will move on to creating our charts. But before creating our charts, let me show you a new concept or a new thing, which is the field parameters, or we will call it as matrix, which are basically field parameters. So basically, if I create any chart, let's say a donut chart or a pie chart, so that shows a particular value only. Like it will, let's say it shows the total sales bifurcated by the fat content, right? But what if I want to change dynamically as I select the filter, as I click on here, the whole report changes, right? So I want that particular chart to change. Like I want the donut chart to be for the total sales as well and for the average sales as well. But I will not create two charts. Instead of creating two different charts, I can have that in one, and I will give it something like buttons. It will display like four buttons here, and we will give all the four values, that is total sales, average rating, and the total number of items. So you can just click on it, and the charts which have the values as matrix, so that will change. For example, let me show you. See, this is the chart, that is a donut chart which shows the fat content. Now it is showing number of items, right? So as I click on this, okay, this is not in that. Okay, see this chart, fat by outlet location, right? Now it shows the number of items that are there in a tier 3 outlet, in low fat and also in regular fat. But as I click on total sales, so in this chart, as I was telling you, that this chart shows the visualization between the outlet location and the matrix that we have used. Now it is set to total sales, so it shows that total sales among the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 outlet locations, and it is bifurcated into the low fat and the regular fat because we have used the item fat content as the legend. So this is basically our metrics in which we have used the four parameters, which is the total sales, average sales, item number, and the average rating. So we are going to create this matrix and then we'll create the rest of the charts. So we will go back to our report, and to create the field parameters, or we are calling it as matrix, you need to go to the modeling tab and click on new parameter and select the fields. So basically these are the field parameters and you can name your parameters. So we are going to give the name matrix for our report, metrics, and you can simply select the field from a dataset right from here by choosing the fields that you want to include in this field parameter. So I want to include total sales, average sales, total items, and the average rating. I want to include these four parameters in my field parameters, or we call it as matrix. So I'll just select them and click on create. Make sure the add slicer to this page button is checked, and now you can see your field parameter as a slicer directly right on your canvas. We will change the formattings. And now we will change the formattings for this and then we'll place it accordingly. So select this, the visualize. We'll go to the slicer setting and I want it to be as tile, just like this. Okay, the selection would be a single select, and the height for it would be just 40, just like this, and I'll adjust the width accordingly. For now, let's say 450, and let me just go to the background. We use the same exact color for the background, sorry, in the value background, not in this one. So for that we'll go to values and the font color would be black, font type would be stage wise semi bold, background would be yellow that we're using, which is FFD200, and for this whole I'll go to general tab in effects and I'll turn off the background. And okay, so I want to change these names and I want to add some space between these buttons. So for that, in the visualization tab again, I will go to slicer settings. Selection is fine. You can just search for that also. Let's see if there is any option for paddings over here. Okay, the padding, I think there's no option for the space between the cards. Yeah, I think it is looking okay like this. So we will just place this accordingly. So you can just drag and drop it to here. I want it to be the center in this. So yeah, perfect. Now to change these names, as we don't want this underscore and this small capital thing, so you can just drop it down from here, or you can just okay, when we have created the matrix, you can see there is another table that has created such as matrix. Inside this, if you will click on this, you will get the DAX query. This DAX will automatically be written when you will click the button create and your matrix will be created. You can just go to this DAX and you can change the name by going it here. So I want it, I don't want these underscores, so I'm just removing them. Perfect. I'll click on this commit, and now if you see, the names have been changed, and by this we have successfully created our matrix. Now let's move on to creating our chart. So the first chart that we are going to create is a donut chart. So we'll click on donut chart, and donut chart that we are going to create would not use matrix, but instead it will show the fat content among the total number of items. So the values would be total items, and the legend would be the item fat content, which is this. So I will first now format this. So I'll go to the general tab in this format settings, turn off the background. The title should be fat content, and this should be bold. I want it in bold. Yeah, like this. And I don't want the background, so I have turned it off, but I want a border, basically a black border with 1 pixel and 4 pixel rounded corners. Now I'll go to visualization tab. I'll go to slices. So for the low fat, for the regular fat, sorry, I'm using the same color, which is FFD 200. And for the low fat, I'm using this color, this green color. Or instead, I want this yellow for the low fat and the green for the regular. Yeah, like this. Instead of using this green color, you can even use a lighter version of it, but I think this looks good. For the legend, I don't want the legend to be in the center right. Instead, it should be in top left. And the text should be in black color. The size should be 9. For the title, the text okay, so the title should be just fat content, and font is this only, and yeah, I think it looks good now. Now for the detail labels, I'll go into detail labels. They are turned on. I want them to be outside, but I don't want it to. Okay, I want the data value as well as the percentage of total. I'll go into values. I'll make the color black and it should be semi bold, and the display units should be none because I want the exact number. So I don't want it to be the decimal values. Instead, I want it to be whole numbers. Perfect. Now we have completely formatted this. Just change the size of this. So I'm giving it the height and width. Go into general properties. Height should be 190 and the width I think 255. Perfect. Just some more formattings we need, which is, I think I should turn off the title for the legend because it is quite evident that which one's low fat and which one's regular fat. So I'll go into legend and I will turn off the title, and in the text I'll increase the font size by 1. Perfect. Now before creating the next chart, we'll save our progress. Don't forget to save your progress because you might lose track of it and then you have to create it again. Let me just verify the size of the charts. Okay, so we will change the size of this to 176 as we check. 176 by 258 or 259. I think this is fine. This is perfect. The formatting is perfectly done. Yeah, I think we are done with this formatting. Now we'll save it again and then we'll create our next chart. So our next chart is going to be clustered bar chart. So you'll click on clustered bar chart and now you will use the matrix. So for the y-axis, I'm going to put it as outlet location, and for the x-axis, I'll go in this matrix table which is created when we created our matrix, and I'll select this and drag and drop to it to x-axis. And that's how we have created our second chart. For the formattings, I'll just select this chart, copy the formattings from the format painter and paste it over here. Okay, we need to format it again, so we'll go to general. In the titles, I want title to be as fat by outlet location. Perfect. And the size should be 12 is fine. Yeah. Okay, and also I want the legend, so I'll go back here again. In the legend, I will add the item fat content. Perfect. Now I will go to y-axis. I will select the color as black. And for the y-axis title, I want it to be... Okay, I don't want the title, so I'll turn it off. Similarly, for the x-axis, I'll go into x-axis. I'll turn off the titles. In the values, I want it to be black. And I will also turn on the data labels. Perfect. Now we'll go to general properties and we'll adjust the height and width. So the height, that is 176 and the width is 259. Yeah, let me just check it again. Yeah, okay. Perfect. If we want, then we can increase the width of this, because there are some data labels, so we can increase the width of the chart. Okay, I think this is perfect. Except for that, I will go into the x-axis and I'll turn off the values also, because it is quite evident that which values it is showing. It is total sales is selected, so it is showing total sales, and this is the cumulative number which is shown as we turn on the data labels. So that's how you can format the chart. We will just adjust its width once again. Okay, perfect. Now I will save our progress and move on to creating our next chart. Before that, let me just reduce the size of this chart's title. I think 12 is fine. Perfect. Now we'll create our next chart, which is a tree map. So we'll select tree map and we will again use the matrix. So in the details, I will put matrix. And in the category, it would be outlet size. Oh, sorry. It should be the values in the matrix. Perfect. Yeah, that's how we have created our third chart, which is a tree map, which shows the matrix value that we selected. right now it is total sales. So it shows the total sales value and it visualizes and breaks it down according to the outlet size, which is small, medium, and high. So for the formattings, we will go to this chart, select this chart, click on Format Painter and paste the formattings over here. For the title part, I'll go into titles and I will select the title that we are going to give is value by outlet size. The size is 12, which is fine. Now for the colors, we'll go to visualization. First, we'll turn off the data labels. And now for the colors part, I think okay, we can choose ourselves. So for the medium part, I am choosing this yellow color. For the high part, I am going to give this green color, and for the small part, I am going to give this green color again, but the lighter version of it. So I'll click on this more colors and I'll select a lighter version of that green, which is this, or even I can select the lighter version of yellow. Okay, so for this small, I was using a light green color, so we can use a light green color for the small, or instead I can use a light green color for which the hex code is 5D BE5D. You can use the same. Perfect. Now we are done with our third chart. And we'll adjust the height and width. We'll go to general properties and the height is 175 and the width is 259. And for the data labels, you will go to data labels and you will make the size 8 and the font would be Sagewise semi bold, which is perfect. So $259 and the height is 175. And for the data labels, you go into data labels, you can increase the size to 9. I think the 9 is looking good. And then we'll place our chart right here. Make sure that all these 4 charts that we are creating are of equal size, because it will symmetrically align well and it will look good. So yeah, that's how we have created our third chart. And for the fourth chart, when we are clicking on total sales, as you guys can see that in here we can't see the proper values. For that, you can go to visualization part again, and in the data labels category, you can just make the display units to none and the value decimal places to 0, or you can make it to thousands. Yeah, perfect. Make the display units to thousands and the value decimal places as 0. Then you will not be seeing those decimals and the value will be properly visible to you. So we'll save our progress and move on to creating our fourth chart, which is funnel chart. So we'll click on a funnel chart and we'll not use matrix this time. Instead, this chart will give us the visualization between the total sales and the outlet location. So for this, the values would be sales, and the category I'm selecting it as, you can choose the outlet type also if you want, but for now I'm choosing the outlet location instead, or outlet size. We can make it as outlet size or an outlet location. I think outlet location will give us a better visualization. It will look good. So yeah, we are making the chart for outlet location, which gives us the visualization of the total sales that has been done. And for the formattings, I'll select this chart, I'll click on format painter, and I'll paste the formattings right here. For the title part, I will go to title, general titles, and I want the title as sales by outlet location, and the properties will go to height is 175 and the width, as I said, is 259. And for the colors, we'll go to visuals, we'll go to colors, we'll go to this, and we are going to select, for tier 3 we can select that same yellow color. For tier 2 we're going to select this color. For tier 1 we're going to select this light green color, and we want the data labels. So for the data labels, okay, I don't know what is wrong here, that data label values is turned on but it is not visible. Okay. The data labels should be visible, but they're not visible. Let me check once. I think data labels should be visible, but they are not. We'll check what is the problem with this chart. We have created the rest of the chart, it is completed. It's just that the data labels are not visible right now. So we will go to data labels, and we'll turn it on, and yeah, right now they are visible. Okay, so the size was in 10, and which was not fitting in the width of the columns or the funnels, so it was not visible. So we'll make it as, say, UI bold, and we'll make it as 9. Yeah, I think now they're visible. And for the colors part, we'll go into colors again, and for the tier 3 the color is right, but I think we can change the color. For tier 2 we'll select the same yellow color but the lighter version of it. So the light version of it would be something around this, I think. Yeah, I think this looks good. Perfect. And for the tier 1, I'll leave it to this green color itself. We'll adjust the properties once again. We'll check the height and width. Go to properties, and the height and width are not perfect. All right, that's how we have created our fourth chart, and we have checked that the all the four sizes of these charts are absolutely equal and they are symmetrical. So that's how we have created these four charts. Now we will save our progress before moving ahead. And now we are left with three more components before completing our report. So we'll create three more charts. So the next chart that we are going to create is column chart. That is a clustered column chart. So we'll select a clustered column chart, and now we are going to use the matrix again. So for the x-axis, I'll use the matrix. For the y-axis, I'm going to use the item type. So you can drag and drop the item type. Okay, so I don't want the count. I want it to be item type. Okay, so we want item type on the x-axis and the matrix should be on the y-axis. So this gives us the idea of the item count. So we basically want to visualize that which item type has been sold the best, like which item type has done the maximum number of total sales, or the maximum number of average sales, or the maximum number of average rating, or total items. So we can directly change that by using our matrix that we have created earlier. And now we will format this. But before formatting, as you can see that there are so many categories, and there are so many item types, so we don't want all of them. Instead, we just want the top 10 item types. So for that, we'll apply a filter. So select this chart, go to filters, and in the item type, go to filter type, select the top end filter. We want top 10 item type, and by the value would be the matrix. And we'll click on apply filter. I think something is wrong. We'll figure it out. What? So we want the top end filter, and we want the first 10 values. We want them to be according to the matrix basically, and we'll apply the filter. It is showing all the values instead of the top 10. You can check what is wrong. Let's go back to our chart, and we'll select this. We'll select the top end filter. Okay, by value, instead of using matrix, you can use a total sales, and then you can apply your filter. And now whenever you will select the matrix, basically you'll select the average sales, then it will show you the top 10 average sales values. As you can see right here, it is showing the top 10 item types by the average sales. So the highest item type you can see is household, which has an average value of $149. So that's how we have created our chart. Now for the formattings, we will select this chart again, and we'll select the format painter, and we'll paste the formattings here. Now for the color, we go to visualization and columns, and we want all the columns to be that same color, which is FFD200. I will adjust the size of our chart. Yeah, perfect. Now I'll go to visualizations again. We'll go to x-axis first, and we'll reduce the value size to 8. I want the color to be black, and we don't want the title. Similarly, for the y axis, I don't want the title. Instead, I want the values, and the values should be okay. They are 9, they're good, and the color should be black, which is selected. And yeah, that's how we are done. We just need to change the title. So we'll go to general title, and I'll give the title as top 10 item type. And I want our title to be in center, so we'll change the horizontal alignment to center. And that's how we have created our next chart, which is our fifth chart in the report. So we will save our progress before moving on to the next chart. Okay, so now we are going to create our next chart, which is going to be a column line chart. So for that, we are going to select the line and clustered column chart. So you'll select this, and what we are going to do is we will select the line. For the line axis, I will give the average sales, and for the y-axis, I will give the total sales. For the x-axis, I want now the establishment year. So the establishment year is here. Yeah, perfect. So basically this chart gives us the visualization between the average sales and the total sales of a particular outlet which was established in years. Like the columns are expressing the outlets which were established in a year. So let's say in a particular year, the outlets which have been established are giving very low total sales but high average sales than the other. To be able to visualize that, we are creating this chart, which is a line column chart, and we will make sure that the size and everything is perfect. And for the formattings, I'll select this chart, and I'll click on format painter, and we have pasted the formattings, and it gives us the perfect analyzation of the average sales, even of the total sales in which year. For example, in 2012, the outlets which have been established in the year 2012 did an average sale of $140 with a total sales of $130,000. You can change the title. So we'll go to general, and we'll go to the title, and I want the title to be as sales by outlet establishment, and I want this to be in left. So I will change the horizontal alignment to left, and I'll go back here and I'll double click on this to remove that underscore, and similarly I'll double click on this to remove that underscore from here as well. Now you can change the color of the column or the line accordingly, but I'm going to give the column color this only, or I think I can change it to a little lighter version of it, the yellow. So I think I can change it to this. Yeah, this looks good. For the line part, I will go to line and I will go to color, and I can select the black, or even this is good. But let's see, we can select black. I think black looks even better. So we're going to go with black, and that's how we have created our line and column chart, which shows us the total sales and average sales according to the outlet establishment year. Now, before moving on to the last chart of this report, we will first save our progress and we'll move to the last chart, which is going to be a matrix, a tabular chart, something of this type. It's going to be something of this type. Now, okay, but before that, creating that, I think I should make some adjustments over here first, which is the size. So you have to arrange your charts and your each and every component of the report properly so that it looks good. Otherwise, the arrangement is not properly aligned, then the report won't come out as an elevated and a, it won't be eye catching, because if the alignment looks uneven or unsymmetrical, that then it doesn't look good. So what I'm going to do is I think I should increase the width of these charts like this, and to make sure they're of same size, I'll place this one on top of the other, and I'll match the size, and then I'll place it back again. Perfect. Similarly, I'll do it with this one. I'll place it on top of the other, I'll match the size, and then I'll align it back. Perfect. Perfect. Now our report looks good. You can even add a line between these, but I think then we need to add a line here and there also. This looks good anyway, so we won't change it further. And we can also increase the size of this to something like this, but I think it was looking better earlier also, so I'll change it back. Okay, perfect. So we'll save our report once again, and we will create a last chart, that is a matrix, and the values that we will be using for the rows are the outlet type, and for the columns we will be using 5 values, which is the total sales first, and average sales, and the total number of items, and we will use average rating as well, and item visibility as well. For the item visibility, I don't want it to be as a sum, instead the average. Let me just check with the values. Yeah, okay. Now we will format our table. So for the formattings, first let me go to the visualization tab, and we don't want the row subtotals or the column subtotals. We want the we'll go to first grid. We'll turn on the horizontal grid and the vertical grid. This width of these would be 10, because you can't give more than 10. In case of a matrix, if you will turn on the horizontal grid and the vertical grid, then the maximum width that you can set is 10. So you set it to maximum. And for the border, I am going to make it white itself for now, and I'll give a title to it, which is the values by outlet type. Okay, perfect. Now we'll go back to here again, and we'll double click on this, and we don't want it to be so long column headers like average of item visibility. Instead, item visibility is fine. And similarly for the average rating, I'll remove the underscore, because I don't want the underscores to be present in the column headers. So as you guys know, I have told you that you can just double click simply here and change the titles and change the name. So yeah, I have changed all the names. Now I'll increase the width of each and every column so that it looks uh, symmetrical. Okay, I think it looks fine. Now for the formatting, we'll go to this again. We'll go to layout and styles. The style would be minimal, and the layout would be tabular. Yeah. So the style we are going with is minimal, layout is tabular. We'll go to grids again. We'll change the width again. We will change this width again. We'll turn off the vertical grid lines and the horizontal grid lines and set the width to maximum, which is 10. We'll go to borders, and we don't want this blue border because it doesn't go with the color scheme, so we'll make it white. Okay, and for the row padding, you can increase the row paddings, and the global font size, I think the global font size should be 10. 10 is good. The row padding, I think 9 or 10 is going perfectly fine. Yeah, so you can make sure that the horizontal grid lines and the vertical grid lines are on and the width is set to maximum, because we want to utilize the whole space of this bottom right corner of our report. We don't want it to be like unutilized or something like that, because we want to align all the charts symmetrically, as I told you earlier, so that our report looks good. So we'll select it back again. We'll go to visualizations. We'll go to column headers, and we want to align the header in the center, and the title should also be in the center itself. The text is semi bold, and the size should be 10, because I think 10 is enough. All right, for the row headers, it should be again semi bold, and the alignment should be center, or we can keep it as left. All right, now we will go to the specific columns. So first, the total sales column, and the alignment should be in center. The display units should be in thousands, and we will keep the decimal units this time. And similarly, we'll go to, okay, first let me give it the background color. So the background color that I will be selecting for all the columns would be this yellow, and for the values, the text color should be black. Okay, similarly, we'll go to the average sales column, and we will select the background colors, which is the same yellow, which is FFD 200. The alignment of the text should be center, and the text color should be black. Similarly, for the total items column, we'll repeat the formattings for each and every column. Text color would be black, alignment would be in center, and the color would be yellow. For this, the display units is none, but I don't want the decimal values, so I am making it 0. For the next column, which is the average rating column, we will copy the same formattings, which is the background color is yellow, this is black, the alignment should be in center. And for the last column, which is the item visibility column, the background color should be black again. So the text color should be black, background color should be yellow, and the alignment should be in center. Perfect. Now for the borders, we'll go to general, effect, and we'll turn off the background, and we will turn on the borders. That is 4 pixel rounded corners, one with black border. All right, now we will select it back again. We'll go to visualization, and we'll go to grid, and we'll select this black color, which we'll select the horizontal grid and the vertical grid lines color, which was by default set to this, but we don't want this color. Instead, we will match it with the background color, which is this 30% darker white with a 73% transparency, but we don't have that option. So I think this matches the background, or this right here matches the background. Yeah, this matches the background. Perfect. So we'll make sure that it is this color, and also for the borders, I will give it a black border. We'll go into border, and we'll make the color black, and we want the border in the top, bottom, left, and right. And we will reduce the size first as this. Okay, now I'm adjusting the size of the table. Perfect. Okay, we will decrease the size because it should be aligned with the above chart. Yeah, like this. Okay, we will save our progress and we will check it with this. We need to change the color for the row headers and the column headers as well. So we'll select this back again. We'll go to visualization, column headers, and the background color should be this. Similarly, we will go in the row headers and we will change the background color to this, which is 10% darker white. And perfect. Now we will save our report and we'll close this tab, even the above bar. And now we'll visualize the report. So as you will change the metrics, these graphs, this graph, and this graph. We use the metrics in three graphs, so these three graphs will change accordingly to the metrics, and you have your detailed and beautifully looking, visually appealing cards right over here, the Blinkit's logo right over here, which shows that this report is based on the Blinkit's dataset, and you have your filters right here. You can choose, I want the tier 2 cities data, and the outlet size should be medium, and the item type that I'm looking for is, let's say, bread, breakfast, dairy, frozen food, whichever you want. Okay, I think this is select, single select. Okay, so I'll change it. I'll go to this visualization, I'll go to slice settings, and I'll make the selection with multi select. Okay, now I think I can select all. Yeah, similarly, I'll make this option available. So go to slice settings, unselect this, and make sure this is selected, the last option. Similarly, for this one, we will apply the same settings. And now we'll close this and we'll save our report and we're going to check it again. Okay, so I want the data to be sorted for just tier 1 and tier 2 outlet locations, and it should be the small and high only, and the item type should be just baking goods, breads, dairy, seafood, soft drinks, and household. That's it. I just want selectively the data, the report should be displayed based on these selections and these filters. And now I want to see the average sales for these, so I can see the average sales as well. As you guys can see that tier 3 city was not selected, so we don't have any tier 3 city data, sorry, tier 3 outlet location data, and not even the medium outlet size data. So that's how you can easily change your report, filter it out according to your needs, change it right on the spot, and that's how you create a visually appealing and detailed Power BI report on Blinkit's dataset. So I hope that you guys have learned from this tutorial and you guys have enjoyed this, and make sure to try the hands-on experience. The dataset and all this logo icons and the images are given below in the description box. And let me just, and I noticed that the total sales is showing the decimal values again, so I'll go to total sales and correct it because I think it should be perfect. Okay, I think it is good. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to try this, build this report, so you guys can also learn along. And I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this tutorial. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you.